have to be told.
Humanity's savage nature will inevitably lead to global annihilation. So in order to save this planet, I had to trick it with the greatest practical joke in human history.
Killing millions.
To save billions. A necessary crime.
You know we can't let you do that.
Do that, Rorschach? I'm not a comic book villain. Do you seriously think I'd explain my masterstroke to you if there were even the slightest possibility you could affect the outcome? I triggered it 35 minutes ago.
What is at stake is more than one small country.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
Oh, you're trying to give me a hint that there are aliens.
No, I'm trying to tell you I don't know.
Oh.
But if we were visited someday, I wouldn't be surprised. I just hope that it's not like Independence Day.
Yeah, right.
That it's a conflict.
It is a big idea.
You know I can't.
Perhaps it's fate, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish.
Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore.
They're out there. We better think of how all the differences among people on Earth would seem small if we felt threatened by a space invader. That's the whole theory of independence.
You're right. You're right.
Everybody gets together and makes
Out of my way. People have to be told.
To make us recognize this common bond.
Where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause,
We will be united in our common interest.
Well, now we have friendly
Maybe the only
aliens.
way to unite this incredibly divided world of ours.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
There's declared a new order of the ages.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
And should we win the day? But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate
a new world order.
Flight 11 slamming into the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
There's declared a new order of the ages.
But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night, we will not vanish without a fight, we're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our...
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
I watched along with the world as the second
tower. This happened shortly before or shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and since then the city has been in a state of chaos and shock. This whole area now locked down, police clearing the streets, making room for officers and emergency personnel.
There's declared a new order of the ages.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, two passenger planes, hijacked by terrorists linked to Al-Qaeda, crash into the World Trade Center towers in New York.
A new world order.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001.
Has declared a new order of the ages.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, two passenger planes hijacked by terrorists linked to Al-Qaeda.
A new world order.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Hit the Army side of this huge fortress that is the Pentagon. The Pentagon, of course, is not just a symbol of the nation's military might, but today is a command center amidst all that has happened. Now, there was a fourth crash, which occurred today in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. United Airlines Flight 93 was bound from Newark, New Jersey, out to San Francisco. There were 45 people on board. Authorities say there were no survivors. In all, there were 4 crashes, 266 passengers and crew, and then, of course, we still...
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
In the midst of all of that, in the midst of that terrible tragedy, there was further chaos down in Washington. 9:45 this morning, an airliner crashing into the Pentagon. The plane, which was American Airlines Flight 77, which was scheduled from Washington's Dulles Airport out to Los Angeles. The Boeing 750...
It's time. It's time. Time for the big
This is just the same old stuff.
It's come. All you lucky kids with silver shamrock masks, gather round your TV set. Put on your masks and watch.
Honey, don't get too close. You'll ruin your eyes.
Jack-o'-lanterns. Gather round and watch. Watch the magic pumpkin. Watch.
I think this whole thing is a big joke. I mean, look at this.
Has declared a new order of the ages.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
A new world order.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
And since then, the city has been in a state of chaos and shock. This whole area now locked down. Police clearing the streets, making room for officers and emergency personnel, many of whom were on the ground at the base of the buildings when the first one collapsed. We were just a couple of blocks from that area. We heard it, we saw it, a gigantic cloud of smoke and debris billowing down Church Street North right at us. People ran for their lives, including police officers. After the first building collapsed, some of those emergency workers began heading back towards the scene.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
People trying to flee the scene were left underneath all of that rubble. The carnage of the World Trade Center collapsed. By then, authorities had closed down the tunnels and bridges leading into the island of Manhattan, and the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, had ordered all U.S. airports closed.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
And shortly after that, the second building came crashing down. There is no official word on number of injuries or deaths. There have been some reports as many as 10,000 might have been killed in the collapse of the two World Trade Center towers.
A new world order.
That's space.
Not too long ago that at 6 o'clock today Eastern Time that there would be a conference call of the congressional leadership to assess the catastrophe of today and to consider when the United States Congress should meet again. As of now, the Capitol was largely evacuated.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't let you do that.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
I think that there was a substantial shadow government trying to run foreign affairs for the United States.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
In any other country, it would have been called a coup. And they seem to have gotten away with it.
At what point, what has to happen before it is literally safe to send someone into that space?
I don't know that it will ever be safe. I think the rescue people that are in there trying to save people are very much at risk, as they always are in these kinds of disasters.
I'd hate to think, as many of my colleagues here have already expressed themselves, that in the process, we have shredded our own democratic fabric.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
These are modern-day pirates, these guys. They have escaped, essentially, the control of national governments, but they're available for use by national governments.
29, actually. The North Tower had collapsed already. This is the South Tower. You can see collapsing into the streets of Lower Manhattan, just falling away. We know that as you see it there, it's just falling away, just falling out of the sky, falling into pieces all over Lower Manhattan. And so you can understand the tremendous amount of ash just dumped on Lower Manhattan today. Roughly 50,000 people work in the towers in the center area on a daily basis, and then
Sometimes they move under color of, and defend themselves as advancing U.S. national interests in this. But I think that's very secondary with these guys. They're out to make a buck.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
I did do it. I am not, as I said in my statement, at all ashamed of any of the things that I did. I was given a mission, and I tried to carry it out.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
And of course, there are additional tens of thousands of tourists who would come to the tourists who want to see the tremendous vantage point you would have from the top of the towers. The New York does believe that there was a horrendous loss of life there, but he doesn't even want to try to guess how many people have died in New York today.
You know I can't.
Just at this moment, we are confronted with the extraordinary story of a CIA guerrilla manual for the anti-Sandinista Contras, whom we are backing, which advocates not only assassinations of Sandinistas, but the hiring of criminals to assassinate the guerrillas we are supporting in order to create martyrs.
Since there are so many people watching now who must have loved ones down in that area and are concerned of the systematic...
I've never seen anything like this. I was there from shortly after it happened and saw people jumping out of the World Trade Center. It's a horrible, horrible situation.
Is this not, in effect, our own state-supported terrorism?
Out of my way. People have to be told.
As that Afghani professor said with just visible anguish, he said they have condemned Afghanistan to eternal violence. The human horror, the Red Cross counts 55,000 people in Angola who have been maimed by Savimbi's landmines and attacks.
And George Bush continues to support those forces.
Every time there's the U.S. or the CIA, you lose a big one, we bring in all of these murderers and dope dealers and people who committed horrible butcheries and atrocities. We welcome them back into our country, where they continue to do the same thing here.
The thing that's happening now with the U.S. forces, U.S.-backed forces, as they say, in Afghanistan apparently, is just utter atrocities. When they take a city and then they lose it, perhaps, there are crates full of dismembered bodies, meat stuck in crates of hundreds of bodies left behind. Horror beyond comprehension.
Perpetrated by the rebels?
By the U.S.-backed forces.
No, and I'm glad you asked that question because I know it's on many people's minds. I have ordered an investigation. I know that the CIA is already going forward with one. We have a gentleman down in Nicaragua who is on contract to the CIA advising supposedly on military tactics, the Contras.
The environment.
This was the two greatest moments of shock that I felt as I've come into the peace movement. One of them was seeing the children. In '83, I went down and actually held maimed children in Nicaragua. And the second one was seeing this film and just seeing what we deliberately did to the environment, killing the 1,000-year-old trees and permanently poisoning the land, and seeing the photograph, the shots of the children that had been born since.
John is
out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
And he drew up this manual. It was turned over to the agency head of the CIA in Nicaragua.
Is there any possibility of stopping these CIA wars? We've seen the fruits that they bear, which is death, mayhem, destruction, chaos, etc. Is it possible to stop Bush and the secret wars? Bush himself was head of the CIA. He's obviously someone deeply committed to covert action. While he smiles and talks about a kinder, gentler nation, he's supporting all of these CIA operations.
And he's been open and truthful about it. He says he supports them.
But can this be stopped? I mean, is there a mood in Congress or elsewhere in the country that these are not helping anyone? They don't serve any real U.S. interests. They just destabilize and create chaos and death. They're totally immoral. They're irrational. Is there any sense that this is what's really going on and that it just has to be stopped?
Well,
I mean, Gorbachev is evidently trying to create a saner, more rational Soviet policy. So shouldn't the counterpart of that be in the U.S. to stop these covert wars?
Well, I hate to keep pounding away like Dr. Gloom, but even glasnost, there's a downside of glasnost. We do have, like I say, Doonesbury announced the end of the Cold War. The nation, we've gotten the word out. There is a great movement in the nation, if you will, of revulsion, of saying these things are wrong. There's surprising people in the establishment. Bill Colby, who ran the Phoenix program and the CIA that did all these things, said the Contra program was wrong and should be shut down, and then said that covert action should be gotten out of the CIA. You're finding remarkable people saying that, acknowledging the fact that these things are wrong.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
Well, Mr. President, you're implying then that the CIA in Nicaragua is directing the Contras there. I'd also like to ask whether having the CIA investigate its own manual in such a sensitive area is not sort of like sending the fox into the chicken coop a second time.
I'm afraid I misspoke when I said a CIA head in Nicaragua. There's not someone there directing all of this activity.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
The process is going to be extremely bloody, and the U.S. will be doing its very best with the U.S. media probably not giving us the vivid clippings of the horrors, as they're happening, just as they're not doing it in El Salvador or Guatemala today.
But couldn't there be an embarrassment for the U.S. if it turns out to be a bloodbath, that the U.S. supported rebels turn out to be barbaric and there's atrocities committed everywhere?
Well, there is a bloodbath happening right now, and it's just not being run in our media.
The media,
we're not being told about
the
it.
U.S. and the CIA have done this continually through the years.
That's absolutely
right. In South
right.
Vietnam, in Iran with the Shah, in El Salvador.
With different degrees.
Bloodbaths all the time.
And with different degrees of collusion from the press. And in Central America, for example, in '81, when Reagan was first plunging in, the media, they had crews all over Nicaragua. They had permanent offices set up for all the biggies in the Intercontinental Hotel. And then after the Falkland Islands, they made a decision and didn't send them back.
What was in that manual was direct contravention of my own executive order in December of 1981, that we would have nothing to do with regard to political
Out of my way. People have to be told.
Mr. Mondale, your rebuttal.
What is a president charged with doing when he takes his oath of office?
So warning, this is Beale. Confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high. Roger, we've got 32 targets in track and 10 impacting points. I want to confirm, is this an exercise?
He raises his right hand and takes an oath of office to take care to faithfully execute the laws of the land. The president can't know everything, but a president has to know those things that are essential to his leadership and the enforcement of our laws.
Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
Roger, understand. Major Reinhardt, we have a massive attack against the U.S. at this time. I see. Roger, understand. Over 3 missiles inbound now.
And terrifying threat.
Witnesses report hearing they keep.
So it apparently went right through the. We're looking at a live picture of the building right now, Jim, and what would you say?
Roger, understand.
Well, I guess we could stay right up here for a while, sure. I think you better go downstairs, folks. Please.
When it took place, so you hear the crash? Yes, I did. In terms of anything beforehand, though, no. I mean, I couldn't tell if the plane was in distress or anything like that, but certainly when it hit, there was a large explosion.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
This manual, several thousands of which were produced, was distributed ordering political assassinations, hiring of criminals, and other forms of terrorism.
Okay, I've talked to the governor. He is putting the National Guard on alert so that they can relieve our police officers and our firefighters later this afternoon. And we've asked the federal government for help from the urban search and rescue team. So right now, we're using all of our police and firefighters and emergency personnel to help the people down there. Later on, we're probably going to need reinforcements.
Mayor Giuliani, I realize that it must be more than a chaotic situation, particularly since the bunker has been compromised and cordoned off. But can you give us any sense, there are so many people watching now who must have loved ones down in that area and are concerned of the systematic...
I've never seen anything like this. I was there from shortly after it happened and saw people jumping out of the World Trade Center. It's a horrible, horrible situation.
Some of it was excised, but the part dealing with political terrorism was continued. How can this happen? How can something this serious occur in an administration and have a president of the United States in a situation like this say he didn't know?
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
president must know these things. I don't know which is worse, not knowing or knowing and not stopping it. And what about the mining of the harbors in Nicaragua, which violated international law? This has hurt this country and a president supposed to command.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
Mr. Kalb, your question to President Reagan.
Mr. President, you have often described the Soviet Union as a powerful, evil empire intent on world domination, but
perhaps we need some outside universal threat.
A new world order.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Hey! Oh, come on, baby. Don't die on me now. Oh.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Humanity's savage nature will lead to global inevitably lead to save this planet.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
They physically approach themselves.
to be told. Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Horror writers.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
Sudden pain.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Harmless pop phenomenon or a deadly mad prophet of the printed page.
Out of my way. People have to be told. Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
He sees you.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't. You know I can't.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Out of my way. People have to be told. Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't.
Out of my way. People have to be told.
You know I can't. I can't let you do that.
Suddenly you discover humanity. Convenient. If you'd cared from the start, none of this would have happened.
I can change almost anything. But I can't change human nature.
Of course, you must protect Bite's new utopia. What's one more body amongst foundations? What are you waiting for?
I'm leaving this galaxy for one a little less complicated.